Hold on. Yeah, I'm talking to you right here. None of you guys are buying this stuff right now, are you? Okay, I really hope you're not. I've got this stuff. I've got Tuxedo by Yves Saint Laurent. And you don't need this stuff, all right? You really just don't. $250 plus for 120 milliliters. It just isn't really fully worth the price, in my personal opinion. It would be a different story if you could get it at discounters and knock that back by 50, 60, maybe 70 bucks. But at this retail price, which is about the only option you have some alternatives. And I've got to say, the newest hype beast is officially in town. Today we're going to be checking out the Tux Eau de Parfum by Maison Alhambra, aka Lattafa. So I'll pull my Tuxedo out again real quick just so we can do a side by side. Not only are they cloning the scent itself, they're getting the coloration down pretty darn close. Obviously it's going to look different because my bottle of Tux is really low, but I mean it's just about spot on. I think the clone here is a little bit darker, but other than that, pretty close. And if you couldn't tell, the bottle is just about a replica. You've got the excess glass at the bottom, which is a little bit larger on the Alhambra, but you have the kind of textured cap. The only difference here really is the YSL does have a magnetic cap and the Alhambra is a press fit. But hey, if you want to spend an extra 250 bucks for the YSL to get a magnetic cap, you can do so. So we already have a few Tuxedo clones on the market, and I've covered a couple of them. Most famously, Moustache Eau de Parfum by Rokas, and then also Afnan Tarathi Brown. Now, I've been a big proponent of both of those, especially Moustache. It's been featured in a ton of my videos. However, one thing that Moustache has always lacked when you stand it up against Tuxedo is the signature patchouli accord that Tuxedo bears, and Moustache kind of falls back on that a little bit, and Moustache itself goes more in the vanilla benzoin direction. That being said, it is still a great clone. However, when it comes to closeness, I'll say it right here up front so you guys can cut to the chase. I think the Tux is even closer to Tuxedo, believe it or not. We're talking $22 here, 100 ml Eau de Parfum. Moustache is anywhere between $58 right now. I've seen it upwards of $70. I've seen it as low as $40. It is all over the board. But this one is probably going to maintain around this cheapy $20 price for hopefully indefinitely. So yeah, I said it. You know, you guys are going to be like, oh, you've been hyping up Moustache for all these months and years, and now there's a clone that's closer. I can't control the market. But again, at the same time, I'm not going to stop enjoying Moustache. Again, you have to realize here, I have the real Tuxedo, and I wear Moustache more than it. You probably are like, okay, but your bottle's almost empty. The only way I could afford to buy YSL Tuxedo back in the day was to decant it out. So what you see there, only about a quarter remaining, all of that was decanted, and I've only worn just a few sprays out of my actual bottle, and from there I've gotten into Moustache and some of the other clones, and I wear those over Moustache because I enjoy them. You know, I like the vanilla benzoin aspect of Moustache a lot. I think it smells great. However, I want to dive into the Tux today. We're going to go over this one, could tell you how it smells, how it performs, and just how close it is to YSL Tuxedo. So, I mean, when you spray this one on, you have no problem kind of realizing what this is all about, you know, and immediately you do get a ton of spices. And again, Tuxedo itself on the bottle is spices and patchouli, and that's what you get out of this one immediately. Some spices, black pepper, maybe even a pink pepper in here. Almost a little bit of a cardamom feel, although that's not officially listed. And then also the patchouli, nice masculine, earthy, and somewhat sweet patchouli note. It smells amazing. And again, this DNA is so unique. No matter which one you choose, you can't go wrong with any of the Tuxedo fragrance clones, in my opinion. They're all really, really good. Some differ more than others, but I've always said that you should have this DNA in your collection at some point. It's just a very distinct smell. I don't know what it is about this DNA that sets it apart so much from other things, but it's patchouli, it's spices, it's ambergris, or more realistically ambroxan. So it just gives you a really unique, interesting combination of notes. Everything from a sweetness to a spicy kick to a warmth type of smell, all the way up to a little bit of a bright pop. You know, there's just a ton going on. So let's go and take a look at the official note breakdown of the Tux. This one is already on Fragrantica here. It has amber, spicy notes, patchouli, vanilla, and floral notes. So for the most part, it's pretty vague. However, it doesn't need to be much more detailed than this, in my opinion, because what this primarily focuses on are the following. It's going to be the patchouli, the vanilla, the spices, and the amber. Now, in terms of the florals, there is a little bit of a slight fresh balance in here to this one, just to kind of equal things out, so to speak. However, it's going to be all about those warmer, sweeter notes and that sort of thing. And again, what this one is doing better than something like Moustache Eau de Parfum is that the patchouli is coming in stronger here to give it more of that traditional Moustache clone type of smell. And for some people, this might not be your favorite. Maybe you like the lack of patchouli and Moustache, and you like the focus on the pink pepper, the vanilla, and the benzoin first and foremost, rather than having that patchouli come into play. And again, that's one of the reasons why I've been a fan of Moustache for so long, is that it's a different take. It's a little bit sweeter and more mass-pleasing in one way or another. However, this one is going to be the ticket when it comes to just how close it is. Now, when you talk about quality, you got to keep in mind this is a $20 scent, right? $22 going for right now. However, it's impressive. It is stupid how expensive this smells. And I've got to say, guys, and I've said this before, but the clones have been getting so good here recently, to the point where when I put together lists and top 10 videos and reviews and that sort of thing, I find myself almost thinking of the clones first, because in my mind, it's saving you money in a time where maybe you would want to save money. Now, niche fragrances will always have their place, right? I have my niche fragrances. I've spent more money than I probably should have on niche. However, it's not going to be a requirement for everybody. You don't need to spend a ton of money on niche fragrances to have a good collection. It's cool to have a luxury product, right? It's cool to stand out and smell different. But if you can do it at a fraction of the price, and that kind of gives you an idea of if you're even going to like the DNA, I don't see why you wouldn't go that route. So in a roundabout way, these clones are getting so good that they're starting to creep into my lists and taking place of the niche alternatives that would normally be in said lists. Think of latent clones, think of Aventus clones, and everything else in between. You may notice you might not see as much of latent or Aventus in videos, and that's because these clones are getting so good that they're just almost the way to go anymore. Even I'm wearing these clones when I already have the real thing. It is bizarre. We are in a really weird time right now with these clones and how good they're getting, because 5 years ago when I was just getting started, there was a lot of crappy clones out there. There were some good ones, but there were some horrible ones as well. But it is getting impressive now. So let's talk about performance on this one, because that's going to be a big selling point also. You know, Tuxedo itself, the original, is not really a beast mode scent. You know, it's nothing to write home about, especially at the price point, and especially when you cannot get it at discounters. And that's why I'm so harsh on that one. You know, it's expensive, but at least when you feel like you're saving some money by getting something off of retail, look at all the other niche fragrances out there that you can get off of retail a little bit, it makes you feel a little bit better. But when you're stuck and being forced to pay full retail price like Chanel's, you kind of just are a little bit more critical about it. And so with the original, not the best. This one, though, is an impressive 8-hour performer. Now, these days, you know, 8 hours is probably considered average, whereas realistically, 5 to 6 hours is probably more so the average range of longevity. But now everyone's wanting 10, 12, 14 plus hour longevity, right? But around the 8-hour mark for this one, which is pretty solid considering you have to pay a whopping $20 for this. Projection is also pretty impressive as well, and more so the scent trail. When you spray this one on and you walk into a room, it hangs. And as you've seen me do throughout the video, I've sprayed this one up in the air multiple times and I can still smell it. I mean, seriously, right now, I can smell it. I'm not wearing it on my skin currently. That is just from me doing this, okay? And it hangs for a long time. So it really is going to shine in the scent trail department, but it also does have a pretty decent distance out of the projection as well. And again, going back to this point, I know it's not going to matter for a lot of you guys, but maybe for some it will. When we're talking presentation, it's by far the closest to Tuxedo to the point where it's just ridiculous. So if you want to really prioritize, the presentation here, then this is going to be the clear winner. All right, I think that's really going to do it for me, guys. Not much else I can say about a Tuxedo clone. I have gone over them many times. However, in terms of what's on the market right now and for the price, this is going to be the closest one, in my personal opinion, that you can buy. And again, if you look at the reviews online so far, like I said, it already made it to Fragrantica. They are overwhelmingly positive, which kind of surprised me because Fragrantica, more so the users on there, can be a little bit of a tough crowd sometimes, but this one is doing exceptional. And again, when you see me talk about Moustache Eau de Parfum, you're going to be like, oh, well, why are you talking about Moustache now? The Tux is closer. You're right. But again, like I said, there are different times where I would want to wear different styles. And that's the beauty of clones, is that some clones are really, really close, almost dead on. Some take a DNA and twist it. And that's kind of what Moustache does a little bit there. And so there are still going to be times where I'm going to be featuring it in my fall lists and that sort of thing, and I'm going to be wearing it. But there's also going to be times where I'm going to be featuring this, especially if I'm focused on providing you guys a spot-on or almost spot-on clone. To me, for the price, this is it right here. So I will drop a link to this one down below. Given that this is so good and it's already selling so fast, this might end up being like a Lattafa Kamra or Lattafa Assad or something along those lines, where it sells out and then it's gone for a while, and when it comes back into stock, it sells really quick. So if you want one of these, I would get one now while you're thinking about it, because who knows when it'll sell out and it might be gone for a while. And again, this brand in particular have really been pushing it with their clones, and you look at the Tom Ford clones as well, the private blends. I don't know if there's any lawsuits that could be brought upon these brands, these clone brands, but I would just start picking up some of these while you can. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.